Yo, what's going on, guys? Rhys here from More Than Lifting with the More Than Lifting podcast. Conversations about calisthenics, bodyweight training, gymnastics, all that good stuff. In this episode, we're going to be talking about, over the next few episodes, we're going to talk about different places you can train, the advantages and disadvantages of each of them, and what kind of stuff you can use. And so we're kicking it off today with training at the gym. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Firstly, a little bit about me. I say about me, about the podcast. The last 2 weeks I haven't managed to get quite a few out. We're supposed to be sticking to this 2-a-week schedule, so I apologise to all you guys for that. Going forward, as of today isn't going to be, but starting from next week, they're going to be Mondays and Thursdays. All right, so that's it. I've said it. That's how it's going to be. I'm glad we got that sorted. Just sorry for all you guys out there who I haven't managed to get podcasts out to as often as I'd like to, really. Yeah, so that's enough about that. Otherwise, things are all good. So, training at the gym. All right, over the next 3 episodes, we've got kind of 3 different places you can train at the gym, at home, and outdoors. And there are advantages and disadvantages of each of them, and we're going to go into all of them. And we're going to start today with the gym. All right, so training at the gym. Most people go in training, fitness stuff, you think of going to the gym. All right, and the problem with bodyweight training is often you think, oh, well, if I'm not doing weights, like what can I do at the gym? You know, people think it's quite awkward, and that's not necessarily the case. It's actually quite easy a lot of the time. It's just down to you and the facilities that you have available. All right, so the first thing you can use if you're going down the gym training is floor space. A lot of the time they got like space for stretching and warming up. You can use that for practicing your isometrics, like L-sits, crow stands, handstands even, you know, all that kind of stuff, working on your mobility, working on your flexibility and stuff. So there's plenty of things you can do on the floor just there, like pistol squats as well, like all your leg stuff can be done there, your shrimps or whatever. You've got plenty of options, even though they're not always so obvious. The kind of stuff you can do on the floor, you can do all your push-ups, you know, there's plenty of stuff you can do on the floor. Actually, you'll quickly find out that there's floors at all of these places, so the floor comes into it at all times. So the next thing is your pull-up dip frame station thing. It looks kind of like a jetpack with extra antlers, and these are great half the time. And they're great because that's all you really need. If you go in there, you're doing your strength training or something, you can do your pulls there, you can do your dips there, you can do leg raises most of the time. Sometimes it's a bit awkward. And this is the thing with these pull-up dip-in frame dip station things, is that the geometry on them, the way they're set up, often sucks. And there's usually one thing, whether it's dips is awkward or pulls is awkward or leg raises is awkward. Like, it's not often that you find one that is perfect. I don't know who designs these things, but they can't use them because if they did, they quickly see the issues with them. But having said that, there's usually usually cable machines you can do pull-ups on and stuff like that. So there are other options available as well. And the last one is like monkey bars, like climbing frame type setups, which a lot of gyms have now for like CrossFit stuff or for training like your Spartans or your Tough Mudders and stuff like that. So there's usually some kind of like body weight kind facility there in some shape or form, usually monkey bars, and you get those kind of slot in the side dips station things, which they're all right as long as people haven't like screwed with them or like bent them all out of shape and stuff. And I've been to gyms where like that's a problem, so then you can't really do dips well, and you think that kind of winds me up. Anyway, so they're your main 3 options really. There's no reason that you can't do some other stuff on like a squat rack or something if you're working your rows and stuff like that. There are makeshift ways you can get around stuff, but they're the main 3 bits of equipment that you'll be using. All right, so that's that really. Going forward, right, first off, the advantages. Going to the gym, obviously the main advantage of this is that you're going to a gym and it's dedicated space, like you're using it for its purpose, like it's a purpose-built place to go and do training, get fit, so it's got that kind of built-in atmosphere which you can use to get more reps in, like just get in the vibe. If sometimes I'm not feeling training, like I'll go down to the gym, and as soon as you get there and you like get warmed up, like everyone else is working, you're like yeah, like it's almost like a team effort, you know what I mean? You're all bunched up together to like work and achieve. So that's one good thing, like you go into a gym. That also comes as the advantage of like, sometimes you want to just give yourself a break from like just, I don't know, whatever, or somewhere to do something to do in the evenings instead of going down the pub or something like that. Then you can go to the gym instead and actually improve your life. All right, and that's not saying that the bar isn't going down the pub ain't going to improve your life. You might meet someone or what, you know, next networking opportunity or whatever, but it's not somewhere that you want to spend all your time to achieve your fitness goals. So next advantage, obviously, sauna, steam room. Like these are big ones for me anyway, because like that's what my that's the reason I really keep the gym membership. Using that is that's the only facility that's really worth the money that I spend on the gym, in my opinion. Get your roll bass oil out, like that's just a great experience, especially after you've been training. Have a nice little stretch in the steam room or whatever is usually pretty good for helping relieve a bit of DOMS. It's a good little cool down, and yeah, and it just makes you feel good too, especially if it's cold outside. Like sauna or steam room, you'll be steaming all the way home. So the next advantage is having weights. And it's not that you can't do weights if you're doing body weight training, like there's no reason you can't do weights. So sometimes it might just help to get you in the zone, or you're struggling with whatever progression you're working on. You can find like a weighted version or a similar exercise. Like if you're struggling with your dips and your pulls, you can start doing like bent over rows and stuff like that. You can do overhead presses, military presses, or bench presses, or dumbbell press. You know, there are loads of options. You can use weights to help you achieve your next level skill. Like if you got your gym membership, then that option's always available to you. So that's, I mean, that's really it for the main disadvantages, those three. All right. So next then is disadvantages. And these are kind of a 50-50 because there's two sides of every coin. But the first one is it can be kind of awkward for you. So if you're not particularly confident, you're trying to learn a new skill, or you're just starting bodyweight training, you're really struggling with something, but you want to train it loads, like you can get a bit self-conscious about it. You can be like, oh, like, I don't want to train these in front of everyone or whatever. And like, that's something that you kind of just need to get over. But like, it's a problem for some people, so I understand that that can be a disadvantage. It can feel a bit awkward, especially if you're not very good at something and you really want to achieve it. Like, it can almost stop you from training that skill, so that's not what we want. Everyone has bad days, and if you feel like you're flopping your handstands all the time, then it can kind of put you off a bit. And if there are other people about, it can just feel like everyone's looking at you and stuff. I get that, so like, that can be a disadvantage. The other one is bodged, like facilities. That sometimes you don't have all the stuff you like I've already said about the pull and dipping frame. Like sometimes the geometries are off and it's really awkward to do stuff on, so that can be a problem. And like bodging little bits together, like using the squat rack for your rows or for like something, you're not using it for what it's supposed to be used for. You get in other people's way, like you're kind of just bodging something so that you can try and work a skill or an exercise, and it's just a bad experience. It's awkward, you know, and so that can be a problem. And the other one is expensive. A lot of the time you have to spend a lot of money on your gym membership, whether it's £20 or £70, you know, it really ranges depending on where you go. And that can be an issue for people if you're trying to save money and you're trying to do body weight training. Like, you can get rid of your gym membership, you can start going down the park, or you can train at home, which we'll talk about in the next 2 episodes. And so it gives you those options to use other training methods to get the results you want and still look after your body without having to spend out the money on a gym membership. Like, how many times if you've ever been strictly gym stuff, like weight training, like how many times have you been somewhere and you're like, oh, I don't want to go training, it's going to mess with my training schedule or whatever, like stuff you've set for yourself, your goals, and like now you're in another town or city and you can't go training for that day, like, or a weekend or something like that. And it can mess up the habit for a start, so you can, like, that can slow down your progression because you'll start, maybe you miss another day, or miss a day here, a day there, and whatever. So it builds and it stacks up quite quickly, and suddenly you haven't been training in 2 weeks, and you know, it's all downhill from there. You've got to start that, build that habit, and build that that momentum up all over again. So that can be a problem as well. Right, the next thing then is what kind of exercises can you actually do at the gym? Okay, so you can do obviously your pulls and your dips, and provided you've got the right kind of equipment available to you, you can do your leg raises, right? And that means you can probably do your rows and your push-ups and your tucks as well, so you're more or less set with your foundation workout. We've already covered floor space, so you know you can do things like your crow stands, handstand training, and like planche training even, or crazy push-up variations, or whatever you fancy on the floor. That gives you that kind of space for that stuff. You can use a bench of some kind for things like flutter kicks to improve that range of motion instead of just doing them on the floor. And you can use your bench for other things as well, like support with your pistol squats, like assisted pistol squats and stuff. The problems you can have at the gym with exercises though is, depending on the kind of equipment you have available to you, you might struggle with things like levers, muscle ups as well for ceiling height. Like where I go down to the gym, I can't do muscle ups there because I literally hit my head on the ceiling, so it's just really awkward. Also, the bars they have available aren't really ideal. Like the pull-up frame has the neutral grip sticking out, so that gets in the way. You can't do muscle ups on that. And then where you can do pulls on the cable machine, the problem with that is that the ceiling, but also the shape of the bars, so because they're kind of angular and separated, like it's not ideal for muscle up training, so that kind of sucks. And also in line with them, lever space is quite difficult as well. Like I just said, it can be quite difficult to do things, and if you don't have monkey bars or something like that available to you, then you can also struggle with your flag training and stuff like that. So you can, although you've got loads of equipment available to you, it can be quite easy to struggle with some bodyweight exercises, particularly advanced ones where you need more space, and really all you need is just a single bar with enough headspace to do muscle ups and enough space on either side for you to do levers without kind of getting in people's way, because yeah. That just means it just creates problems for everyone, doesn't it? And no one needs any of that. So yeah, that's the only issue really with the gym. I personally like going training at the gym. I find it really motivating and I enjoy it. I think I perform better down there than I do if I'm just training at home. And yeah, it's kind of just gets you in the zone. You can plug your headphones in and, you know, just crack on, and it just has that atmosphere, which is, you know, it's for fitness. I know Coach Satch loves the gym, even though he was talking about training outdoors sometimes. I know he likes going down there, and the same with Corey as well. If you checked out Corey, the other guy who was on the podcast recently, at comike97 on Instagram, he goes training down the gym all the time. You can see him doing this hard floor acrobatics and gymnastics down there on his Instagram page. So yeah, so just because you do bodyweight training doesn't mean you gotta like despise the gym or have some kind of, you know, vendetta. There's no reason you can't go training down the gym. I like it, and yeah, it's all right. Like, I train at home, I train outdoors as well, and yeah, I keep my gym membership mainly for just going down sometimes, particularly in bad weather, and if I just need that extra little motivation, and obviously the sauna and steam room. Alright guys, that is it for this episode. So in the next couple of episodes, like I've said, we're going to cover the other two main places, well, the other two options really you have for doing bodyweight training, which is outdoors and home. We're actually going to do them the other way around. So next episode later on in the week is going to be training at home, and we're going to go through a few bits of kit, the advantages and disadvantages of each. So if you like what you heard, give us a subscribe, share us with your mates, training partners. Yeah, that's about it really. Check me out on More Than Lifting everywhere, and if you want to get in contact with me, just Rhys Morgan at morethanlifting.com, or reach out to me on Instagram, just give me a DM or whatever, and we can have a conversation. Oh yeah, check out the 100 push-up challenge, guys. If you haven't already, get involved with that. It's going at morethanlifting.com/100 challenge. I'm in the process of getting them all out on Instagram at the minute because I'm an idiot and I haven't really been promoting it on Instagram, which is where a lot of my followers are, and like where I talk with people the most and stuff like that. So like really that's just stupid on my part, but I'm fixing it. Also, we do them live on YouTube every week, so don't forget to check that out on Sundays. And it's week 13 at the minute, which is actually, as of today when I'm recording it, Monday is week 13. So, you know, we're quarter of the way through now. It's not too late to join. It's never too late to join. Just do week 1, I'd say, so you get used to the reps and then jump straight in. All right. So yeah, go check out 100 Push-Up Challenge, and I'll catch you in a couple of days with some home training tips. And keep in touch with yourselves, guys. I'll speak to you then.